Hi everyone. So few days ago, I have created a video about Power Apps multi-step approval process with the signatures. In that video, I have explained the demo, how we can set approvals, how multi-level approval is working with signing and everything. This video covers the coding and the logic part of it. If you have watched that video, I will send a link in the description so you can just watch it before watching this video. So basically, just to give an overview, this is the single skin power application I have created. And the concept here is how we can set up a multi-level approach with the signatures captured from the approvers. And the backend is a SharePoint list. This is the gallery where I am displaying all the records from the list. So currently I am taken expense reimbursement. Whatever the records I select here, you see the approval status of them. It is displaying on the right hand side. So these approval levels are completely customizable. You have to add it in a SharePoint list only. So there is a master list for capturing the express reimbursement data and the list where we are capturing approval status for each one of them. When I click on add new, here we have the simple form. So for the expense reimbursement, I have these approval stages. For new hire request, let's say I have these approval stages. So these are completely dynamic. So based on the drop down selection, you can show different forms here. So let me show you the SharePoint list structure. So first is my process types list. Basically, I have expense reimbursement, budget adjustment, and new hire request. Then I have list called approval configurations list. So in this list, I have the process type selected, title of the approval stages, sequence, and the approver. So if I group this by the process types, you can see for the expense reimbursement, I have these 5 stages. So these are the same stages I am displaying here whenever I submit a new expense request. So if I click on add new, you see the hiring manager, department head, IT manager. So for expense reimbursement, we have these 5 fields, right? So these 5 fields I am taking from this SharePoint list. Sequence I have added because sometime what happen if you want to change the sequence of the approval. So let's say the IT approval will be at the second and manager at the fourth. We can shift this and it will update in the approvals as well. For each stage, there is a single approvers only. So these are the people that I have created in my tenant, and is active represent whether you would like to include this step in the approval process or not. Any change you do here, that will only affect the next record that you are submitting. Existing approval records that are already submitted won't be affected. Same goes for the new hire request. So I have different approvals, different persons, different sequences. Then there is a SharePoint list, approval logs list, because whenever we submit any expense, we have to track each and every approval's record, right? So what I will do, I'll just create a request and I'll show you how it is working. So I have select expense reimbursement, expense item, I'll set as this data I have filled here. So now when I click on submit, the record gets added in my SharePoint list, and as you can see, the latest added record will be at top. Here the title expenditure amount is completely displayed. The status column I have taken that says in progress. When I click on view, the approvals will be showed here. So gray color represent that none of the approval has started. Orange represent that is in progress. Approve will be in a green color and rejected will be in a red color. So once I add the data in my SharePoint list, there is a simple flow. In that flow, what I am doing is I'm just getting the item detail and setting that item status to in progress. This is something I can do from the Power Apps only, but I wanted to show you how Power Automate notification also you can do. And I wanted to send some emails to the person who have created that item, that approval process is started. So that's why I use the Power Automate flow. So it is really simple flow. When item got created, I am just taking the ID of that item and updating its approval status to in progress. I'm sending two email notifications. So whoever the first approver is, I am sending the email to them, and whoever the author is, that means who created that item, I am sending an email to them as well. I go to my Outlook, I just receive an email. So this is the kind of email I am sharing. The template is completely customizable. This is just for a demo purpose I have taken in my video. The item ID and the title will be displayed here. What you can do, like you can integrate a deep linking in Power Apps as well. So once the approver clicks on it, it will directly jump to that screen, right? So this integration you can do. Now let's go back to Power Apps. As you can see, the first approval status is department head. So I got two emails because for the department head, as you can see, I am the approver and I have created the record. So subject is dynamic, department head approval required. Hi, whatever the username is, this item requires for approval, so that the person will go to Power Apps and approve or reject that item. So notification part is like this. Now let me show you the approval logs list. So basically what I am doing is I am capturing every log. So as you can see, these are the 5 items that we have just created. So first the department head, manager approval, finance, IT and CO. Currently department head is in progress, right? And these data I am showing from that approval logs list. The reason for doing this, because if we maintain a separate list for every process type, that will be very hard for us to track. So in the logs list, what I am capturing parent item ID, so that we can know which item is there, what is the process type of it, whether it's expense reimbursement, new hire request, right? So from this we can get everything from a single list. And logs is something that we are not going to hold it forever, like 1 year 2 year, that is fine. Then we can shift this to a different SharePoint list or database for the audit purposes. Now let me just check here whether the status is got approved or not. Yeah, currently this is in progress. Now let's come to the part where we can use the role based control, correct? So for this what I did, so whatever the person is, department head, manager, user, once they log in they will see the approve reject button. Now in order to show you that, I have to create a multiple profiles and log into multiple users. But for the testing what I did, let me show you. So I have taken one input field here that accept current user email, or you can just write it down. So currently department head is myself only, but my email is not like this. So I will change its value. I have taken a set role button. In that button I am capturing a variable set where user email and whatever the value of the text box is. So basically if I click on it, now if I go here and check, these buttons are visible. Now if I select these buttons, go to its visible property. So approve button and reject button visible only if approval email is equal to user email. So if I go to approval log list, here we have the approval email, right? So for department head, my email is listed. That's the same email that we set in a variable. That's why these buttons are displaying. For all others, the buttons are not displaying because currently that stage is in progress. So we are not showing all the buttons directly. The buttons are only visible if the current status is in progress. Right. Same for the rejected as well, where approval email equal to user email and upload status should be in progress. Now let's play. If I click on checkboxes, I have taken a pop-up. Here the text is dynamic, whatever the action I select. So basically On select property of the approve and reject button, I am taking a local variable that says let action approve, and for the reject I have taken let action equal to reject. So this is the way we are storing that in a variable and displaying dynamic text here. So currently I have selected approve. Now there is one label I have just added. Please add comments before explaining your decision. Then a simple text field to capture the comment from the user. I'll quickly add one comment. And here is the pen input I have taken where we can sign in like this. We have the call to action button that says approve. Here I am just patching two fields in my SharePoint list. This is the formula of it. So where is data processing? So when it's true, the loading will be shown. Now what I want to do, when approve this item, I want next item status to be in progress, right? So how I am capturing it? I am getting that record in this variable where next item. So what I am doing is looking up in approval logs list where the parent item ID is equal to my current item ID and the sequence is +1. That means whatever my sequence is, I am adding 1 in that and checking the next record. So I get that next record here. Now I have used the switch statement. You can use the else statement obviously here. So if the action is approved, I am just storing that approved status as approved. And if it is rejected, I am storing it as a rejected. I am also capturing the approver comments here. And for the signature, I have taken an image column in my SharePoint list, and from the pen input, we can directly get the image and we can patch it to SharePoint list. This is the only thing I am doing here. Now, if I play here, if I click on approve, the loading is showing, please wait. I got the notification at the top, 90 item approved, that the ID of that item. So as you can see, it is automatically changed. I don't have to refresh it to see the changes. So it says green, the manager approval. Currently, I don't see that approve and reject checkboxes because logged in user is my email. So I will just change it to manager email so I can see them. In real application, you don't have to take these checkboxes, right? So this is just for a demo purpose that I wanted to show you. Instead of creating multiple screen and jumping to every screen, it will confuse you. Now for this also I will do approve. So for two other stages I will do the approve. I have marked the status of the two approval as approved. Now the final, the second last one is IT approval, and in this case I am going to reject it. Once I click on this, you can see the message is dynamic, reject is saying here. In the case, so I will add some message that rejected. I'll click on it. So as you can see, if any approval status is got rejected, the main item status is showing as rejected. It will only show approved status if all the stages are approved. As you can see, the out of 5, 3 are approved, 1 is rejected. So the parent item status is also rejected. Let me show you the record that I have approved everything. So these 5 status are approved. That's why the main item status is also showing to approve. Now this is how the coding logic part is done here. If you have different use cases, that will be completely fine. I just wanted to show you how the dynamic approval works here. For every other stage, you can send an email notification that I did not cover in this demo. The next thing is, once you do approvals, if you go in Power Automate and if you use the action start and wait for approval, there you get the PDF summary as well. But what if you want to completely eliminate the approval part of the Power Automate and you want everything to be in Power Apps? That is also something that we can do. Because see, we have the approval logs list, in that we are capturing everything: stage name, approval status, sequence, approval email, name, their signature. Let me just refresh my list. So you see these 5 records I have added. 3 approved, 1 is rejected, the last one is not started because the previous request was rejected. Their signature I have captured here. You can see the comments from the approver as well. Now we have everything. We just have to showcase this in a proper way. So what I did in Power Apps, there is a button called View Details. So once I click the button, it will just capture the ID of this record and get those records only. Now I will show you how I built this. So there is nothing extraordinary here. I have just taken a pop-up container. There is a gallery. In that gallery, I have taken image that I am getting from the SharePoint list, status of it, approved by, action taken on, comments. All this field we already have in SharePoint list. Now there is one print option I have taken. So if I click on print, it will open up the print box for us so that we can print this approval summary. So like this you can get. You can just simply download this or take it for a reference, or if you would like to show and send this on an email, that is also something you can do with the sending email with the attachments, right? So this is how you can use the Power Apps for the complete approval handling. If you want not to use the Power Automate part here, right? Power Automate I am only using here for the email notifications. So this was just a quick POC that I have created to show you the capability of the Power Apps, how the different roles can be managed here, how you can test the different roles without signing into multiple email accounts and switch your windows. Just take like this, because see, user role is completely depend on the user and their email ID, right? So why not just use this kind of logic to test your applications, right? So if you have any question, any doubts regarding this video, then you can ask in the comments. Thank you.